What is up, everyone? Thank you for joining me for another episode of OtherWise with Jane Harvey. I am your host, Jane Harvey, and it is, it's gotta be it's a Monday. It's a Monday afternoon. I tell you, when you work for yourself and you run your own show, the days tend to blend together. It's Monday afternoon. I'm excited about this episode. This is an episode dedicated to my background as it pertains to OtherWise. So I want to talk today about what the things are, some of the really pillar concepts in my life that have brought me to the creation of this show. They are things that existed for me before I learned the names of them, or the names that I have found that seem to work for them. We'll just dive in, really. The first one is a concept. It's a Greek concept called Arete. And Arete means the pursuit of intellectual, physical, and spiritual excellence. And that is a way that I have always endeavored to live. I have been, since I was very young, really interested in being the best version of myself that I could possibly be. And it always seemed really clear to me that there was a way to be that person and a way to not be that person, that I could, if I neglected myself, not achieve my highest level of meanness. And that was, I don't want to say that was troubling to me, but maybe the inverse is that the idea of being my best self was always attractive to me, and something that really pushed me throughout the course of my life, sometimes in an unhealthy way, but oftentimes in a way that I still pursue it today, that is much more about being the best person I can be, intellectually and spiritually and physically. So when I went to college at St. John's in Santa Fe, which is a classics-based program, they take you through the entire arc of the Western classics, and you study the history of mathematics and the history of science and the history of philosophy, and it's this incredibly grounding piece of education given to you from beginning to end. You can't transfer in. You have to start at the beginning regardless of what else you've studied. In my freshman year, when we were studying the Greeks, I learned about Arete, the concept of Arete, and we touched on it sort of lightly. We were really working with the Platonic dialogues and Aristotelian readings and texts, and we touched on it briefly, and I really was caught by it. It was not a small thing for me. The idea that there was a word that contained the pursuit of all three of those pillars of excellence was really exciting to me. And it has been something that I have continued to hold as a lodestone in my life since then. I guess I was 21 when I learned about it, or maybe 22, and I'm 32 now. So for 10 or 11 years, I've had that word as a guiding factor in my life, helping me to make decisions, helping me to audit myself, helping me to choose how I want to live and what I want to do in a really real way. It's helped me to not compromise. It's helped me to be who I want to be, even when it's really difficult. It's been a real touchstone, something that I can really go back to. And I want, with OtherWise, for our work and our research and who we talk to and how I talk to you and the things that I share with you to help you find your version of Arete. Because it's so different for everybody. I mean, Kobe Bryant's Arete is different from my Arete, is different from Jane Goodall's Arete, is different from your Arete, is different from my husband's Arete. There are these totally beautiful differences that each of us have, and we can seek the ideal of excellence and then within that framework understand how different it looks for each of us. So I want this show to give you knowledge that helps you find your version so that you can be the best artist, writer, dancer, comic book lover, if that's a profession. It's not. I want this show to give you an opportunity to be the best you that you can be by showing you ways that humans choose to be the best that they are. And that concept of Arete has really taken me here and brought me to what I like to think of as the best me so far. And I want to continue pursuing that excellence in myself through the lens of OtherWise with Jane Harvey, and to ensure that all of the work that we do gives you an opportunity to be your best self also. So that's one piece that I picked up on my travels that helped me to create this show. Another one is also a Greek term I also learned my freshman year at St. John's College. There was a lot of knowledge imparted that felt really relevant to me and to my persona and my soul at that school. It's the Greek word Philokalia, which means, it translates to the love of the good and the love of the beautiful. And I love the word. I think it's very beautiful, Philokalia. And I love good and beautiful things so much. And it's not beautiful just in the traditional definition, although I think that totally applies. A beautiful woman, a beautiful piece of clothing, a beautiful painting, a beautiful piece of architecture. Yeah. Ugh. But that is a subjective beauty. We could get into the nuances of that. It's not just that beauty that I'm struck by. I'm so taken with the circumstance of consciousness. The fact that we are alive at all has not stopped shocking me and inspiring me. And I see so much beauty in everything. I see it in light on the water. People who know me well know that I am perhaps clinically obsessed with light refracted on water and reflected on water. I see it in a tea kettle boiling. I see it in my painting studio. I see it in weird, derelict old towns that I drive through on the way to Yosemite. I see it in things that might traditionally be observed as unbeautiful. I see beauty everywhere, just in the simple fact of the profundity of anything. And maybe that sounds cheesy to some. It's so true. And it's so important to me that people remember all the time how wild it is that we're even here, that I'm sitting in front of this incredible machinery, talking to an audience of people all over the globe. That is wild and so exciting and so special. And I have always felt a deep connection to the beauty that is humanity, simply humanity evolving forward, continuing to learn, continuing to connect, to grow, to fall in love, to reproduce, to create. It's incredible. And when I found the word Philokalia, it felt like the right word for that awareness that I have, that there wasn't a word I had found in any other language that felt so directly addressing, so directly tied to what I feel, which is a love of the good and the beautiful. So what I want for OtherWise is to continue to keep alive in me that love of the good and the beautiful, and to define the good for myself, it's human strength, human fortitude, human willingness to suffer and struggle for the things that they believe in. Human kindness, human connection, human creativity, human overcoming, human restoration. Those things to me all feel good and they feel beautiful. So what I want for OtherWise is to continue seeing that everywhere I go, because I have found as I get older that bitterness and cynicism and a jaded perspective are pernicious, and they're easy to adopt. They're so easy to adopt. Life is it's very difficult, and I did not come into the world knowing that. Even though I faced struggle from a very, very early age, I had a sort of euphoric perspective of life that has been tested, no question. And someone once said to me, when I was working at a coffee shop in New York while I was in college, called Village Coffee and Goods. By the way, if you're ever in Kingston, New York, you can't go wrong. You must go, and you must get anything, because it's all so good. But so I was so excited about something, and a gentleman said to me, "Oh my God, you have this like uninterrupted sense of wonder." And he looked so earnest, and he said, "Never lose that," as if he had lost it. And he knew he had lost it. And he was shocked to see it in a person of my age. And he wanted to make sure that I didn't lose it. And it felt like a gift that he said it to me that way, and that he looked at me the way he did. And to be candid, I didn't even think that it was possible to lose it until he said that. That's how floating around on a cloud, sparkly Jane was at that time. But it stuck with me in moments when I very nearly lost it, or when I almost willingly gave it up, because cynicism is tempting. It feels oddly comforting sometimes, and it's not. It's divisive and wretched and a bummer, and it's a trick, because life is so incredible. It just is, even when it's hard. And so I want this show to keep that alive in me forever. It's my antidote to cynicism, if you will. And I want it to be that for you also so much. I want, if you're ever feeling miserable, just abject, bitter, angry, I want you to come to this show and remember that there is an alternative. There is another way to think. There's another reality that's waiting for you that has never gone away. It's just waiting for you to see it. And I want this show to be that window into your interpretation of reality as meaningful and beautiful and valuable. I want you to look again with new eyes and ask yourself, where's the good here? Where is the beauty here? Because it's always there. And even as I say that, I'm like, always, Jane, but I've got to believe that if you seek the lesson in everything, you will find it. So Philokalia and Arete are two very, very keystone pieces of who I am that have come joyfully and careeningly into this show, which is meant to help you. Another concept, also Greek. I'm just a Grecophile. Somebody in the comments let me know if that's right, because I am going to have to look it up in post. But another concept or word that applies that has two definitions is Paedia. Paedia is a minor goddess. She's the goddess of play, and it's not play in a reductive definition. It's actually the profundity of play, the divinity of play. And I believe that being in a play state is the most fruitful place that you can be in the mind. And again, that is challenging. It's not easy to approach things with humor and with lightness and with openness and curiosity. And I want to be really transparent here. These things that I love, that I'm talking about, that have informed this show, I do not live into this being every single day. I really don't want to come across as a woman who seems like she's got it all figured out. I don't. I am humbled on a daily or at least weekly basis by life's myriad challenges. And I often find myself falling short of who I want to be and having to check myself and redirect myself. And so I want to be really clear that these are my archetypals. This is my North Star. These are the things that I come back to when I'm being an asshole or selfish or crunchy or any of the things that I often fall into, because I am definitely not a perfect person. So Paedia, the play state, I've done a lot of reading and research around the laughter curve and how adults massively reduce their time laughing, which is such an important thing for longevity and brain health. And the fact that when we are in a state of play, we learn much better, we connect much better, and we absorb information quickly. And I really, really want to keep that alive. Again, to me, that goes hand in hand with a sense of wonder. Becoming rigid and firm and linear and narrow and sort of tight in my thinking does not help me. And I have had jobs and corporate experiences that have asked me to be that way. And I sense my ossification and a real reduction in my sense of joy and wonder. And I do value wonder. Awe and wonder are vital, like water and food to me. So Paedia, minor goddess of play, divine play, all about it. I want OtherWise to feel playful and curious and open and fun and silly. I don't ever want anyone to approach this show thinking that it's very, very posh. I mean, I am obsessed with PG Wodehouse and all things and everything British. I had a British grandmother, so it is quite posh and it will be quite posh, but it's very silly and very investigative, and I'm happy to be wrong and willing to be wrong. And if I am wrong, good, because I just learned something. I just figured something out. And I don't ever want anyone to come to this show thinking that they're getting some sort of there's no air here, there's no snob here. There's just what are we doing, what are we talking about? We all know going into it that the goal is to help. So yay. Let's see what's up. The other definition of Paedia is just the pursuit of knowledge, and it is sort of encompassing. I'm like the other one. It's cool. It's not as cool as Paedia, the goddess of play, but it's the pursuit of knowledge, covering a sort of specific liberal arts education with math and language, et cetera, et cetera. The reason it resonates with me is because I love knowledge and I am an avid seeker of knowledge. I love to learn things. I love to know things. I love to uncover psychological, move psychological stones aside. Or I heard a phrase, pioneering the frontiers of human consciousness is absolutely chill-inducing to me. I want to find the edges of our knowledge and then expand them out further. That's something humans do generation to generation, and it's so beautiful. And to participate in that is, it's like a warm bath on a cold night to me. It's so exciting and it's so fulfilling. So Paedia, Arete, Philokalia, these are things that have been with me, that have been a part of who I am since I was very young, that I got to find words in college that sit as really cohesive representations of these parts of myself. And it was very exciting for me, and it is very exciting for me. And I'm thrilled to share them with you because I want you to have a sense of who I am and what the show is all about and why I do what I do. There is a lot more to share, and that will have to be for subsequent podcasts. But for now, if you have any added curiosity about those things, I invite you to look them up. There's a ton of really cool information on the internet. If you're curious about St. John's College at all, check them out. They're an amazing organization. very transformative, informative years there. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope something about this resonated with you or excited you. And if you have any thoughts, please share them with me. You can always email us at jane@otherwisewithjaneharvey.com. Check out our website. Be sure to follow us and get our newsletter. And see you soon. Thanks so much again for tuning in. Hopefully there was something in that episode that inspired you that you can take with you throughout the week. Please be sure to like this episode, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and share this with a friend or family member. They might find it useful also. If you want to learn more about us, you can do so at OtherWiseWithJaneHarvey.com, and be sure to sign up for our newsletter, Music by Dash Positive. And if you want this episode in audio form, you can listen to it wherever you get your podcasts. Thanks so much, and we'll see you next time.